Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be looking over chapter 7 and this is my content mastery. So, today in this video I'll be going over 3 key points. First being major characteristics of business market, and then I'll compare that market to the consumer market. Secondly, I will discuss the 4 general categories of the business market and the 3 major factors that influence purchase decisions in each of those markets. And then lastly, I will explain the organizational buying process and also throw in an example. So, first off, let's talk about business markets. So, business markets are also labeled as B2B marketing, which stands for business to business. And that is kind of the labeling that is used in the contemporary marketing book B2B. And consumer markets are labeled as B2C, business to consumer. So um, consumer markets involve selling products directly to the people. So if someone buys a pair of shoes, someone buys phone or food, then it's directly to the business, to the consumer. And while in business markets, um, this involves selling products to other businesses or organizations, um, so that they can use that product or service to make something else or to resell it or to just overall improve, support their operations that they have at their own business. Um, so those are the 2 types of markets, and here are the major differences between the two. First off, number of buyers. In consumer markets, there's many buyers, millions of people that are willing to buy the product. And in business markets, there are fewer buyers, but that also means that each one buys much larger quantities. And well, that leads into the next point, size of purchases. Consumers usually buy one item at a time, like I said, one pair of shoes, one laptop, one phone, one one meal. Um, Businesses might buy hundreds or thousands of meals, phones, laptops for their employees. And so that's number 2, size of purchase. Number 3 is the personal relationships that they have with their consumers versus their businesses that they sell to. So in B2C, business to consumer, buyers don't really have that long term of a relationship. It's kind of you buy this and they're on their way. While in business to business, relationships are very key, very important. Companies like to build long term relationships, negotiate the terms. They like to build partnerships sometimes and really just work together over time. Moving on to number 4, the decision making process. So consumers make decisions quickly or even just on an impulse buy. This is not the case for businesses though. They have a long formal process where, a whole team, a whole group of people are there to make the decision. Um, whole there's a lot more people that may be involved in making the decision, making the purchase, and this group of people is called a buying center. Number 5 is demand. So consumer demand is mostly coming from personal needs, their lifestyle, um, what trends may be trending at that time they want to hop in on. While business demand is often more derived demand, so um, depends on what they look at what consumers want. So if a consumer wants more phones, then the phone companies are going to buy more parts for those phones. So um, consumer is more on personal needs, their lifestyle. Business It looks at what the consumers are wanting. If they're wanting more phones, they're going to buy more parts to make more phones so that they make more money. So number six, customization. So with this, the consumer products are usually more like standardized, not much customization there, but business products are oftentimes customized to fit the need of the specific business and what they need, because many businesses have a certain niche and they need that niche to be filled in order to keep their brand reputation up. So that was six. That was the final difference comparing the business markets and consumer markets. So overall, business markets involve fewer customers, bigger purchases, and longer relationships, longer decision making process, and yeah, their relationships are more closer than the consumer markets. They hold a tighter relationship with the businesses. So now on to point two. This is four categories of business markets, and then I'm going to talk about the three factors that influence purchases. So, four categories: commercial markets, reseller markets, government markets, and institutional markets. So, first off, commercial markets, and these are businesses that buy products to make other products or services. So, an example is a car manufacturer like Ford, how it will buy steel, it'll buy tires or like chips for the inside of their vehicles. So they buy individual parts to help them make their full product. Number two is reseller markets. So these are like wholesalers, retailers who buy the products and resell them without putting a change to them. So Walmart is like Walmart buying goods to sell in stores. They don't make the goods. They buy the goods from somebody else, resell them at their wholesalers. So number three is government markets. So local, state, federal agencies that buy goods and services. That's what this is, government markets. Um, this can include like office supplies or healthcare equipment or like the vehicles the military uses. This is government markets, just things that the federal and state agencies need to buy from other companies. So number four, the last the um the last category is institutional markets. And these are nonprofit or non-business organizations like schools, hospitals, and churches. And they normally buy to support their own operations, not really to, they aren't really looking to make a profit. They're just wanting to support how they run their business, essentially. So now let's dive into how in each of these markets, the three major factors that influence purchase decisions. So first off, in for environmental factors, the economy, technology, regulations, and competition all play a factor. So if fuel prices rise, then companies will probably want to buy more fuel efficient machines so that they aren't spending, wasting their money um, on their company when they don't need to. Secondly, organizational factors. So company goals, budgets, policies, and the procedures they have to go through. So this is how a business might only buy from approved suppliers, or they have a bidding process of buying things. Number three is interpersonal and individual factors. So people who are involved in decision, like the purchasing managers, the managers, um, the engineers or the higher up, the executives, and their experience, preferences, and role in buying in because they're a group, the buying center. This is looking at their role, the role of the buying center, and how they can influence the decision to buy something for the company. So, overall, business buying decisions depend not just on the price, but also on the environment. Everything, all those aspects are being looked at before making a purchase. Lastly, point three is the organizational buying process. And so this process usually follows lots of steps. Um, so I like to look at it in 7 steps. First step being recognize the problem or need. So this you can look at it how nurses in a hospital, they have to report their old computers if they're being slow and or if they're affecting the patients. They should report that to their IT or to their department in general to recognize that problem, that hey, that's a problem, needs to be fixed because it's affecting our patients. Step two is determining specifications. So like I talked about, the IT department, they decide how many computers they need, what kind of software, storage, what kind of features they all should have, the specifications of all the equipment that they need to be used. And so step three, search for suppliers. This is where they look at different computer companies. So they might look at Dell, they might look at Lenovo, HP, Mac, Apple, etc. Look at all those companies and search for the best supplier. Step four in this process is to request a proposal or quote. And so in this, they are asking those companies for the pricing, the warranties, and the training that they would need. Um, they could also bid for lower pricing. Sometimes they like to buy in bulk, so maybe they'll get a better deal. So you can propose for a better deal if you buy 1,500 laptops. They might give you 10% off, 10% off each laptop, something like that. That was step four. Step five is evaluate proposals and pick a supplier. So this is where a committee can pull up the proposals of the different suppliers, and then this is where they compare the proposals and decide which one offers the best overall value for their company. Not just the overall price. That might be a big factor that they look at, is which one has the lowest price, but it's the overall best value is mainly what they're looking at. So step six is purchase the product. So this is when they place an order, agree on the delivery dates, and handle the contracts if they have long-term, short-term contracts that need to be handled. This will be in the back end of the process, step six. And lastly, step seven, this is after the purchase, the post-purchase evaluation. So after the computers arrive, this hospital will have to check, make sure everything is working well, working correctly, and if they end up being satisfied, then they might choose to buy from this supplier again in the future. And that wraps it up. Those 3 points, the business markets, the 4 categories, and the 3 major factors with that, and then the organizational buying process. Thank you.